Good morning, producer Neil.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah, I took you by surprise there, sorry.
Sorry, I should be paying attention.
That's fine, what were you doing?
Clicking buttons.
Clicking buttons, trying to earn your living.
I'm sending an email because there's
You're sending an email in work hours?
There's a missing microphone. It's a work-based email.
Yeah, I don't think it's likely that someone's stolen a microphone from the XFM. Although there was 2 cupcakes, so have they done a kind of swap? There's 2 cupcakes slapped below a missing microphone, which I don't think is a fair swap.
Or they got so ravenous they couldn't tell the difference between cupcake and microphone.
No, that's not going to happen. Neil, it wouldn't make sense at all. Come on, let's be serious about this. A crime's been committed. Now well, I'm now wondering if it was you. Did you pop up here just before we got in? And
no, I've been with you all.
You were here when I got here, so I don't know that you haven't come up here to We're not accusing anyone of anything. All I'm saying is the opposite radio station, they seem to have all their microphones. And more, because to be fair, their studio, they don't need one of our microphones with the amount of technology they've got in there. Not that we're bitter. We covered that a few weeks ago. Go back and listen on the podcasts if you want to hear 3 hours of bitterness. How's your week? Still moving house?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of pretty much in the house now, which is good.
Yeah.
Just completing the jobs. The to-do list is shrinking though.
The to-do list is shrinking, that's good, that's good. You emailed me, and at the end of the email you just wrote bluntly, I might get to use a chainsaw on Sunday.
Yeah, that dream has sadly been shattered.
Oh, why?
We were going to borrow it off a friend, but they're away this weekend, so it's going to have to wait for a couple of weeks.
What were you going to chainsaw?
An old tree in the back. Well, it's not even a garden. We've got a yard.
You're allowed to do that?
Yeah, why not? It's all rotten.
It's not all right. It's not.
That's the problem.
Planning permission or something you don't need.
No. It's all rotten, and for safety, it needs to come down, and I need to use a chainsaw.
I don't think for safety you need to use a chainsaw. That's definitely not the case. Well, it's good. We're going to keep. It doesn't seem as exciting as last week, so we might not keep tabs on this next week. Seems to be coming to a kind of. You seem a bit disappointed by that.
Well, I got a Stanley knife this week. That was good.
I mean, you're just getting tooled up. Are you? No one's going to mess with you. You said to me actually when I got in that you were going home to fix your burglar alarm. No need. We know that you've got a cachet of.
Can't believe you just said on air that my burglar alarm isn't working and needs fixing.
What's your address? Somewhere in the Berkshire area, there's a house without a burglar alarm. Get going, burglars. You've got till 1 o'clock. Also, there's a microphone kicking around in that house with XFM written on it. We should get on with a song before the police turn up to arrest you for the microphone, Neil, because I don't know how to play songs, so if you're arrested, I'm in serious trouble. It'll just be me talking till 1 o'clock.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
That was a strange end to the song, wasn't it, Neil?
More technical problems.
More technical problems. We hadn't had any already, except the stolen microphone, which doesn't count as a technical problem. Have we got a crime reference number yet?
No, not yet.
Would you report it as lost or stolen? You can't lose a microphone.
Engineering might have borrowed it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's what I put it down to.
That's what you'll be telling the court. I don't know what happened. Engineering borrowed it and then left it in my house They must have broken in because my burglar alarm wasn't working. So there's 2 things we're talking about this morning. Neither of them are that. I hope I can tell you want me to move on. Well, the worst thing is this recording's going to be cited in court. There's a couple of. We always like to do 2 subjects, don't we?
Yeah.
In case one of them's really, really boring and we haven't realised. But I think these are both. These have both got winner written through them in like a stick of rock now. Do you want to go with number 1 or number 2 first?
Number 1.
Number 1. Yeah. Now this is, there's certain things that you hear about everyone had when they were a child, but you didn't. Like, we didn't have a school prom. Did you have a prom?
We did, yeah.
Did you? Did you go?
I did.
With a date?
No, but thanks for bringing it up.
Oh. Do you know what? We'll write that one down for next week's school prom stories. One thing we never did at my school was we didn't do French or German exchange or any exchange, or pen pals or any of that. But I hear this is a thing that a lot of people did through TV. I want to know what this was like. Ideally, I want to know that I didn't miss out. So we're looking for a pen pal or exchange disasters. Did you have one?
I never went on an exchange trip myself, but my brother and my sister had exchanges to Germany, I think it was.
Shall we come to that?
Okay.
Shall we come to that? To Germany. So what language did you do at school?
I did German.
So what did you get?
I got a C.
You got a C.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. But it stuck with you, didn't it?
Thank you, sure.
This is quite good now. I can challenge you. Oh, what's your name?
Ik heiße Neil.
What's the way to the swimming pool?
That's it, I'm done.
Ah,
Sorry.
always quite a weak swimmer, weren't you? That was your main issue. You didn't know the directions. The other one, and you said this because we were going to do for our second subject fads
Yeah.
that you embraced as an adult, and you thought of this because of GTA 5.
Yeah.
But I would argue that's quite a successful industry that's probably not a fad. It's like, have you heard about that fad? The Rolling Stones. Aren't we looking for fads that you kind of embraced and then felt embarrassed that you've gone for?
Well, I'm going to justify it by saying that basically, computer games for me are a young man's sport, or a younger person's interest. So
Yeah.
at 30, I just couldn't kind of go, I'm going to dedicate a good weekend to playing a new
GTA
computer
5.
game.
I've got chainsaws.
Yeah, or FIFA 14.
But you don't need to get tooled up on a computer game.
Yeah. So I think it's just
Also,
me,
you don't need to thieve on a computer game. You can steal a microphone here in the studio.
it's just me trying to justify not being cool anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, you were once cool. Not at your prom, you weren't, mate.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Two things, Neil, we are talking about.
Yes.
Yes. No, I mean, what happened to your German there?
Ja.
Yeah.
Sehr gut.
We could do your catchphrase in German. Did I tell you so? Did someone come up? Oh no, I told you that last week. Someone
Yes.
came up and requested your catchphrase. I'm just still in shock. Do you want do your catchphrase in German?
Guten Morgen.
There it is. God, you know the lingo, don't you? It's very good. Because if you've just tuned in, this isn't the topic of the show. Testing Neil's German. One of the things we are talking about is a pen pal stroke exchange disasters, and Neil kind of hinted that his brother and sisters had pen pals, but you didn't.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't go on exchange trips either. Which was
Why not?
something about my year just didn't like leaving Birmingham. Pretty much.
Fair enough. So did you have people stay at your house? And
Yeah, the one that sticks out was my brother's German exchange pal called Axel,
Axel?
which I thought any child of the 90s should not be called Axel.
No, because he's slightly too young to be, slightly too old to be named after Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop, presumably.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was my reckoning. But from what I remember, he used to just eat with his hands. He never used
No,
cutlery.
that's not true.
From my memory serves me, yeah, he used to eat with his hands and never cutlery.
I mean, that's not a thing that German children do, is it?
I don't know.
I went on a stag do, and there was a guy, you know, one of those people that's just got back from India and wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah.
And we went to an Indian restaurant, and he went, "Oh, sorry, that one was just ate with my hands because I'm so used to it." Oh, come on, grow up. You're 40.
Did he reject the wet wipe at the end as well? Or the hot towel?
He's probably one of those people that go, "Can I have the curry that you make for your kitchen staff?" Because I know it's actually as hot as they have in India rather than the anglicised ones you give us. Oh, get over yourself. I mean, I've got angry at a hypothetical situation there. There's no need. Yeah, the other, we were discussing fads. We should just make this clear. I'm not one who's I don't tend to get involved in fads because I'm so, maybe app-based fads. Like a lot of people are into Breaking Bad, and that's the kind of thing they talk about. I talk a lot about New Star Soccer, the football app where you play as a footballer from the age of 16. And I tend to, in a lot of social situations, people come over, they'll find that I've got my phone out to show people my New Star Soccer career. And I feel in about 5 years' time, I'm really going to regret that. Maybe I should have watched Breaking Bad instead of spending my time doing that.
Josh Widdicombe. Podcast. XFM.
Jake Berg on XFM. That's how he should say it. It's Josh Widdicombe on a Saturday morning. You all right, Neil?
I like the way you said Jake Bug.
I thought I'm going to really sell Jake Bug here. Because it would be, you know, how many times have I said the phrase Jake Bug since we started work at XFM?
True.
I'm going to really give it some oomph. Too much. Now, every Saturday morning, we combine literature and stardust, two things this show has seen very little of, into a feature in which comedian Matthew Crosby is reading from his library of the first two we've had are Shane Ritchie. Well, let's talk to Matthew. Let's go. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. You are allowed to talk to me.
Yes. Hello. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
All right. So far we've had Shane Ritchie and what was last week's?
It was Gary Barlow. My Take.
So
that's right. Shane Ritchie, Rags to Ritchie, and Gary Barlow. My Take.
I could kind of.
And
you own both of these books.
I own them both. I've thumbed them many times. There are certain books you want to revisit every 18 months or so. Those are two of that canon.
Yeah.
This is definitely another. I'll tell you that. I'm surprised I didn't. I'm actually surprised I didn't start with this 3 weeks ago, because this is a classic and it's one of a series. I'll tell you now. It's Katie Price.
Oh.
Katie Price, the number one bestseller. See if you can guess what it's called.
Oh, Price of Fame.
No, you think that would? When you've got a surname Katie Price, you know there's so many. The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
All of that kind of stuff. You could have gone with that. No, she went for.
How about the
Being
problem?
Jordan.
What? What's she gone for?
She went for Being Jordan. My autobiography includes the story of my love for Peter, which, as a title, pretty unwieldy. It's up there with Precious, based on novel Pushed by Sapphire. I'm sure that is the entire title. Being Jordan, my autobiography includes the story of my love for Peter.
Wow.
Which Peter Andre there.
Presumably.
That's how famous he was in about 2005.
Is he just called Peter now?
He's just Peter. He's up there with Pele and Madonna for one named celebs.
So
he is our prince.
Is this her most recent autobiography?
No, this is 2005. This is her first one.
Oh. Right.
Don't worry. In future weeks, we'll get there. We'll get there. Listen, do not try and walk before you can crawl. So this is. I'm going to read a section. The thing about this is, it's not just that Jordan is a top celeb. She has mixed with the great and good. And when I say mixed, I mean, between the sheets. So I'm going to read to you. Well, by the way, as well, what I love about Jordan is she'll say a thing and then almost immediately contradict herself. Like she says, "Oh, I don't." There's a bit where she's going like, "Oh, you must think I think I'm really brilliant, but I'm not." I will say one thing though: I've probably earned more money than anyone else from my school. You think, when you get to your mid-20s, don't you sort of stop worrying about what other people from your school might have earned?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the section I'm going to read for you today. It's her dalliance.
The surprise there is that Jordan's probably gone to quite a rough school, which you wouldn't have thought at all, would you?
Yeah, I know.
What section are you going to read?
Well, I'm going to read selected highlights from a chapter which deals with one of her many love affairs. Okay.
Okay.
I won't reveal the celebrity because she does that herself in phenomenal literary style. It was a Saturday night in January 2002. I was getting ready to go out and the television was on in the background. Classy. Suddenly, I saw him and I had to stop what I was doing and sit down. My makeup could wait. This bloke was gorgeous. He had jet black hair, huge chocolate brown eyes, the kind that melt your heart, and a body that could melt everything else. And judging by his performance on stage, he had loads of talent. He was Gareth Gates. Now, we all remember where we were when we first saw Gareth Gates on the telly. Now, of course, what she's got an advantage over everyone else was that she knew Sally, who did the makeup on Pop Idol, so she calls Sally. Sally arranges a meeting between her and Gareth Gates.
Oh, my word, imagine what Gareth thought.
I was worried that he might stutter so much I wouldn't be able to understand him, but it was fine. The only problem I had was with his Bradford accent. Sometimes I didn't have a clue what he was saying. So they got over this linguistic barrier, and eventually they went to bed. I'm not going to read any sections that are too blue, although it is very, very blue, this chapter. I've read it many times. At one point, she talks about the size of his willy. She says, it was all right. It wasn't the biggest or the smallest, just average. Now, I think if you're writing an autobiography, you don't really want to just talk about average things, do you? What's the most average thing you've had? Pop that in the book. So this is the saddest part, because you can tell that Jordan is the brains. She was pregnant at the time while she was dating Gareth Gates, and she said, after we made love a few times, he finally asked me about the baby. It didn't bother him in the least that I was pregnant. He was just concerned that he might be able to get me pregnant again. I made a big effort not to laugh. And explained to him that it was impossible. So Jordan is really the brains of the operation in this relationship.
That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, this is even better. When we were apart, we were always... what I love about celeb autobiographies is they put in details that there is absolutely no reason to put in. This is one of them. When we were apart, we were always texting and phoning each other. So I bought myself a new orange phone so he could use his orange mobile after 6 p.m. and not get charged. She is a business brain. She's always going on about how she's a business brain. There's a bit later on where he buys a Hugo Boss suit, which he loves. She doesn't like that much. And what's interesting about this book, this is the final sentence I'll read you before I go. What's interesting about this book is sometimes you revisit a book and you think, wow, it's even more true today than it ever was. Like 1984 is a good example of that. Even more true today than it ever was. Unfortunately, Being Jordan, my autobiography, includes the story of my love for Peter, is not one of those books. This is a line that I read and I almost wept. Might have seemed pretty exciting in 2005. Not so now. Gareth came second in the Pop Idol competition, and his future was assured. And if you don't know, actually, bit of symmetry here. He is now currently touring in the stage version of Boogie Nights, the jukebox musical written by Shane Ritchie.
Oh, there we go.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM. Blur, end of the century, and well, we might come to Blur later. It's not exciting Blur news.
Oh,
it's exciting news for me, but for no one else. So I really don't think we should bill it as a should we move on?
Josh Widdicombe Blur exclusive.
Josh Widdicombe Blur exclusive. We haven't read out any tweets yet.
Sorry,
it's 10:54 and 22 seconds. This is a new record of self-indulgence. So we should. Let's do this now. We've got loads of pen pal stories. It turns out that scratch beneath the surface, there's a lot of people that have got things they need to get off their chest when it comes to pen pals. Catherine in Norwich, 16. I like that. That's like she's drawn a picture for us. Did you used to... I shouldn't digress because we still have... Did you used to, on your local weather, have children send in pictures that they'd drawn? Or was that just a West Country thing?
I can't remember.
So they go, here's the weather, blah, blah, blah. Also, Catherine in Barnstable, who's 7, has drawn this... Can people tweet in if that's a national thing or if that's just a Devon thing? 83936 or at XFM. Well, that's all we've got time for this. No, we will do. Right. Catherine in Norwich, 16. That did happen, didn't it? Move on. Catherine in Norwich, 16. When my German pen pal came over to my house, she was seriously weird. Not only did she demand that I bought her an orange juice every morning for a week, she also insisted that I had a bath with her.
What?
There's a sentence that escalates quite quickly, isn't it? Still to this day, I don't know how I escaped. So you didn't miss out, Josh. Now, I don't think the orange juice thing... Let's take these one at a time. Bringing orange juice every morning is not the end of the world.
That's being a good host.
Being a good host, yeah. I mean, it's not a B&B, but, if you're making, but the bath, that is beyond the pale.
That's very strange.
I mean, I don't even know what to say on that.
Catherine, did the exchange student explain at all? Like,
yeah,
was there something her
got any more
family
details on this, and also how old people were? Because if they were babies, it's not an issue.
No,
but the orange juice thing then is because they, it's not good for your teeth.
Too much sugar. Yeah,
too much sugar. So our first tweet that we've read out, we've said we really need more details. So we haven't got a case closed there. We'll just finish this with a very quick one then. French exchange girl tried to smoke in science. That is amazing. She became a school legend where the story became that she punched the teacher. That's a lot less sordid. So,
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Let's recap who's in the room. Producer Neil.
Good afternoon.
Andy Parsons.
An eye for an eye.
And James Acaster.
Hello.
How are you, James?
Very well, thank you, Josh.
Yeah?
Very well, thanks, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any news on Wakefield?
Yeah, loads of news.
From last week,
I mean, maybe
James
people should
recorded
be...
Nevermind the Buzzcocks and made friends with Pop Music's Wigfield on
Yeah.
Facebook,
Just a bit.
and and it was going well. The
Been going
blossoming
very
romance?
well. Recap is that I tried to do the Saturday night dance tour, and I got it wrong. I did the Macarena, and I was fully aware of it, and I was prepared for the tweets that I got on the night of the broadcast. A lot of people picking me up on doing the wrong dance, but Wigfield, aka Sanny Carlson, which is her real name,
Hey, that's when you're on the inside.
yeah,
That's when you know her.
Yeah.
Sanny.
Can I just say, Neil's brother brought up
yeah.
that
I'm not
perhaps it's a
impressed.
fake Wigfield account on Facebook because it's only got 46 friends.
Yeah, right. Let me respond to that. Neil's brother, if you're listening, which apparently you do listen, and you're quite a nitpicker. Listen, mate. Wigfield and me, we became friends before it was even broadcast on Facebook. So that means whoever made friends with me would have had to find out that I was on Buzzcocks, know that I had made friends with Wigfield in person, then set up the account, quickly added 45 other friends, then waited for me to add her, and then spoke about the exact things that happened on that night. Bottom line is, Sanny Carlson doesn't just let anyone in. I'm
So
46.
So take me through the week's updates.
Well, the main we've had like a few little. We like each other's stuff a lot. She does a lot of the time. Whenever I've done a status update, Sanny likes it. But what she said to me about the dance, she said, couldn't have done a better job myself.
That's it.
Oh,
Doing
there
the
you
wrong
go.
dance. Couldn't have done the wrong
Yeah.
dance better.
Yeah, she couldn't have done it. So, and then she says, and she's done a thumbs up, but not like a like thing, an actual kind of cartoon picture of a thumbs up that she's inserted in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then she said, had a good laugh this morning, and then a picture of a cat crying with laughter.
She's got quite a lot of time on her hands.
She's not been up to much then.
So, how do you know the cat's crying with laughter?
Well, she's
Sure,
definitely.
she didn't have a good laugh this morning at a crying cat. Maybe she's like,
Oh yeah, she might. Wigfield might be a lot more
there might be a darker side to Sanny
sadistic than we think. She's trying to.
Carlson. I had a good laugh this morning, made my cat unhappy.
That's why she got so few friends on Facebook. I'm making more cats cry again, Sanny. That's out of order.
So, are you going to continue it?
Yeah, definitely. What should be the next step? What should I?
Well, maybe we should solicit for readers' views on what James is next
There's
to.
lots of dances that you could get wrong.
Plenty.
Go and do the lambada wrong for her.
I could dance.
Why don't you tweet her now, or whatever, and say, do you fancy meeting up for a drink?
She lives in Denmark.
Or maybe
I'll pay for your airfare. No, I
maybe
won't.
try and suss her out and maybe just show just tease a cat slightly and then send her the video and see if she puts the big thumb down on that one.
It's me ridiculing a cat.
Yeah, why don't you send her a message said I saw a cat with its head caught in a fence earlier?
Yeah.
Lol. And then see if
And then what if she says, oh no, that's awful. I have to make out that LOL stands for lovely old Lucifer. I'll make out that that's what the cat was called. Lucifer, that's an awful name for a cat. Who would call? Why was that the first name? I thought Lucifer.
That's the reason it's got his head stuck in his head.
Yeah,
well, I think
say lovely old Lucifer to people. That's the worst phrase to go around and saying ever.
just worshipping the devil. Lol.
Yeah.
XFM, that is the Smiths, and it is Josh Widdicombe, still joined by producer Neil,
Hello.
Andy Parsons. Building your parts slowly. That started as a short sound, and it's getting longer and longer throughout the show. James,
Yeah.
Acaster,
Yeah.
yeah, bit too short, if anything.
Quite Danish. Sounded a little Danish.
I'm getting quite Danish now. I'm really into Midsummer Murders. And did you know? That's
No, that's-
sorry, you guys don't know because you're not friends with Wigfield on Facebook. But Midsummer Murders is one of the most popular programs in Denmark.
Oh, we're all enjoying your knitted sweater today as well.
Yeah.
You look great.
They're
Put
making
your
a
Lego
Midsummer
away, mate.
Murders
Put your
film.
Lego away.
They're making a film, you know.
Of Midsummer Murders?
Yeah, John Nettles has gone over to Denmark. They're doing a film.
It's popular over here as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but not that. No one wants to watch
How-
a film of it.
Did you talk to her about this, or have you just been doing your Denmark research?
Just been researching it so I can chat to her a bit more. I could Facebook her and say, "Are you excited about the Midsummer Murders movie?"
Right, let's move on. 'Cause it's getting a bit freaky. No, but we are actually on that topic in a way. Talking today about your worst experiences with pen pals or exchange students. Have you had any of these experiences, James?
We had pen pal when I was in primary school. The whole school, the whole class had. We were all pen pals with another class of kids across the country. And
What, not outside the country?
not outside the country.
So Kettering to...
in England.
Couldn't afford a stamp.
Yeah, I
to
think, yeah.
So where were they?
Probably Leicester.
You can't remember.
Can't really remember, but I think yeah, not far away because we visited them once, and it didn't take long. Didn't take long to get there, so round the corner probably.
So you'd go, what's it like over there? And they go,
I just tell them about my life, what I was up to.
Learn a new language. That's all.
Yeah. I just draw. I used to talk about my pets. I had a lot of pets as a kid.
yeah, crying cat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, crying cats and stuff. And then Lucifer, and then I'd draw little pictures of my pets and then send them over to this kid. And then we all went over to meet up with their class, and I didn't get on with him. Like, we didn't click at all. It's really awkward.
Had you clicked via pen and paper?
I thought we had something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this guy's going to be my friend. He seems to enjoy my cartoons, but I think it's just being polite. I think this teacher was like, you've got to write back to him, say that you liked the cartoons, ask him some more about his pets. And then when I went there, we just didn't have anything in common at all. But his best friend is in real life. He was pretty cool, got on with him. And then my best friend, Joe Devlin, he got on with my pen pal.
So you swapped?
Well, we tried to negotiate a swap. And the teacher wasn't having any of it. We went up to my teacher and we said, we're wondering if we could trade pen pals because we're not really getting on.
Well, what did the teacher say?
She said, that's not the idea of coming over here. You're supposed to be, you've been writing to each other. How do you think they're going to feel about this? Think about other people's feelings. And we were like, well, we're pretty sure they feel the same way. Should be okay. She was like, no, there's no way we're doing that. Then
that's
everyone will
quite a
start
story.
swapping. So if you start swapping, everyone's going to want to swap pen pals.
It's going to be like an orgy, a pen pal.
Yeah.
Why don't you all just put your pens in a bowl and then pull out a pen and that's your new pen pal?
In the end, we all just swapped and I ended up pen pals with a kid in my own class anyway. So.
You're pen pals with kids in your own class?
It's a poor thing that's gone on there, isn't it? Having to write to somebody, but you could just wave or make a sound. But no, I'll write them a little cat.
Draw a little picture of a cat crying.
And so did you... I've got actually on this pen pal thing, because this came up earlier, a question. On your local TV during the local weather, because I need to get to the bottom of this, at the end of the weather, did they have like a drawing by a child that had been sent in?
Yes. Well,
Yes, thank you.
But don't forget, we probably had the same weather, didn't we?
Oh, West Country.
West Country, yeah. You probably grew up with Gus Honeybun, did you?
I did grow up with Gus Honeybun.
There we go, you see.
If you don't know what Gus Honeybun is...
Gus Honeybun.
Here we go, right. If you don't know what Gus Honeybun is, Gus Honeybun
He used
is...
to live in a shed, didn't he? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing about it. He used to... So he was a rabbit on a stick. A stuffed rabbit on a stick. And there'd be an anchor who would read out how old... So they go, Katie has written in, she's 10 today. Can we have 10 bunny hops from Gus Honeybun?
He was good at the bunny hops.
He was good at... And then he'd hit a mushroom as well, wouldn't he?
Well, I don't really remember the mushroom.
Hit a mushroom?
Not in a drugs way.
Josh's own little mind. I don't remember the mushroom.
There was a mushroom he pressed and it would change the backdrop.
Oh, that was good.
See,
I
told
remember
you.
the backdrop change. I didn't remember it was a mushroom.
Yeah, so,
And he used to have a rainbow back. If you were really good, you got the rainbow backdrop.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See,
a special one.
if we'd had pen pals in Kettering, where James is from, this is what we'd have talked about different cultures.
I would have thought you were lying. You're sending me pen pal letters going, yep, watched Gus Honeybun today. He did 10 little jumps because it was my 10th birthday, and then he jumped on a mushroom and the background changed.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's your weather, is it? You're all watching the weather in the West Country, loving it.
TV has changed, hasn't it? You don't get that anymore.
But the ratings he must have got, unbelievable, through the roof. If you remember Gus Honeybun or any... So the next week, Neil, note this down.
Yeah.
It's got to be strange things you think only your local TV did.
Okay.
We'll start that now, but it'll go on into next week. So text us, 83936, or tweet us at XFM. Is that okay with you, Neil?
Perfect.
Perfect. That's given us the week off. This is XFM.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM. We were talking, we just need to do an update here, because we were talking about myself and Andy Parsons. Hello, Andy.
Hello there.
Hello. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Sounded like you were doing an Andy Parsons impression then. We haven't got time for all this.
Oh,
have we?
yeah.
We are doing,
Let's talk
right?
about Gus Honeybun.
We did talk about Gus Honeybun. We didn't know if there was a thing. Gus Honeybun, to recap, was the thing me and Andy remembered from West Country Television, who was a rabbit, toy rabbit, who would hop up and down depending on how old you were, essentially. And we mentioned it. Twitter has gone electric. So it did exist. Let's go through them. Can't remember. This is from Zero near Exeter. Can't remember how old I was, but I remember getting my name read out by Gus Honeybun. I was so made up when I heard my name. I wonder if anyone knows what happened to him.
Bitter walking the streets of Exeter, going, seeing other animals on the TV going, it could have been me.
Trying to get in the clubs, having to hop out his age before he gets in.
Gus Honeybun was a legend for Plymouth Uni students, says Alan Dupre in Manchester. Gus Honeybun, I totally forgot he existed. The trauma of not having your card read out or being read out when you're older and thought you were cool. Oh, the joys. Kim from Plymouth. In brackets now, Putney, close brackets.
You
Social mover.
You should have not read out that email. Make it feel even more.
Hop up and down, see how old Kim is now. This is my favourite. This is from Tammy. I'm from Devon and I met Gus. Wow.
First name terms.
He did it. Yeah. Friends on it's like you're Wigfield.
Mr. Honeybun to you?
He did a PA at my school. I got 7 bunny hops and a lolly. You can put Gus Honeybun into YouTube if you want to see what it is like, because we've tweeted it, haven't we, Neil?
Yeah.
It's one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. And on rabbits and exchange students, let's end this link by saying from Jake Clark. I had a strange German boy with long hair called Lucas who stayed for a week. I released my pet rabbit into the wild.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
And now we come to the point in the show which a lot of people's weekends build towards. It's James Acaster's classic scrape.
Thank you, Josh. Archive
from the archives.
From the archives today.
No scrapes this week.
Yeah, no scrapes. I've had a scrape-free week. Just been chatting at Wigfield non-stop, so there's been no time for scrapes. But this is, I'd say, 7 years old in the Cubs.
Yeah,
in the Cubs.
You were 7 years old. This scrape's not 7 years old.
Yeah, this is a 7-year-old scrape.
You were in the Cubs 7 years ago.
Yeah. I took a very long. I wouldn't leave until I got all the badges. That was my. I'll stand by that. I just got enrolled in the Scouts this week, and I'm delighted.
So you're a 7-year-old in the Cubs.
7-year-old in the Cubs. I was in the Scouts till I was 15. I think you're aware of that. Wasn't as much. We didn't have Gus Honeybun and Kettering, so we had to make our own entertainment. Go to Scouts until we were 15. But we had to do a performance for the mums and dads, which was like a circus themed performance.
Yeah.
And we were all going to be different circus performers, and I volunteered to be a juggler.
Safe option.
Yeah, they said who can juggle. I put my hands up.
You'd missed out on Lion Tamer.
Yeah, well, Lion Tamer had gone. There was a Lion Tamer and Lion. So someone else had to dress up as a lion, and there's a Lion Tamer. There was
a chair that
tightrope walker. Tightrope walker, which was a kid walking along a bench. Surrounded by amateurs.
Great show.
Yeah.
Did you tour it?
Yeah. It was a clumsy kid, so it was still quite
quite edgy to see.
We'd all seen him fall off a bench before, so it was quite tense. I volunteered as juggler, telling them I could juggle really well. Never juggled before in my life. Never done it ever.
Yeah. Why did you?
There's a juggling badge. Why did you?
Yeah. I thought this is 2 birds, 1 stone. Perform in the circus show, get the badge. Well, this is why I thought my dad can teach me.
Yeah.
My dad thought he's a smart guy. He can teach me. Good chance for some bonding.
Yeah.
And so I said to my dad,
You're quite a strange child.
Yeah. I was always trying to think of ways to bond with my father.
It's very distant, my father.
Yeah, come up to him with that's like a different hobby that I want to start. And I said, "Can you teach me how to juggle, Dad?" And he went, "Yeah, because I'm not the only liar in the family." I bought a pack of juggling balls with my own pocket money. 3 juggling balls. I came home, and the first thing he did in the lesson was he opened up the packet and he took one of the juggling balls, he threw it over his shoulder and went, "Don't need that one." Which you do need it. If there's any jugglers listening who are getting furious at my dad's, I'm aware you do need all 3 balls. That's not. But I thought
disappointed if you see the 2-ball juggler, aren't you? You go no.
Yeah.
2-ball juggler obviously sounds a bit different now. No.
I thought though, because he threw it, because we don't need it. I took his work. I admired that man so much at the age of 7. So I thought,
You thought this was a chance to bond?
I thought that's.
I've just got this mental image of your dad with 2 juggling balls, chucking one up and the other up and going, there you go, son.
Yeah.
No problems.
Now leave me alone. Stop trying to bond with me. You know I don't like it.
I only see you at weekends.
But it was. I thought that was a spare ball. I thought that's a spare one. Because I'm chucking him around a lot. I was like, oh, there's a lot of potential to lose a juggling ball. So that's probably a spare one. We'll come to that. If I lose one, that one's in the over on the sofa. You throw it away. But this is how we taught me to juggle. Andy's not far off. By how the juggling technique. It was so ball in each hand, chuck the one in your left hand, chuck that in the air. While it's in the air, pass the one in your right hand over. So don't let go of it. Just move your hand over and put it in your left hand. Move your right hand back and catch the ball that you throw in the air. Then do it again. And so just doing that constantly.
The kid on the bench is now sounding like a...
He was laughing at me. He was there looking through the window, balancing on his bench. Acaster, that is so lame. And I nailed the technique in about 10 seconds.
Well done.
10 seconds, I was like, I'm a natural. I'm going to tear up the Cub Scout circus show like nobody's business. And then, it came to the night of the performance, and there was this little backstage area in the church rooms.
Yeah.
We were all there in our costumes, and I had a little waistcoat on because I was a juggler. and
2 balls, 1 waistcoat.
Yeah, but then there's Matthew as well, who was also going to do juggling. There was 2 jugglers in the Cub Scout circus show, and Matthew had a waistcoat on. He had 3 balls in his hand, and I genuinely at the time thought, he's bought the spare ball. You are gonna be all over the shop with that. Matthew, you're about to go out there and juggle the spare ball in front of everyone. Nice one, mate. Is there 5 tyres on your car? But he went out. And then the Cub leader went out, Arcala, dressed as a ringmaster, first one out, and was getting the crowd revved up into a frenzy.
It's a warm-up.
Come on, you want Cubs? I've got Cubs. Really excited them all.
You're not allowed to say that.
He did have Cubs. He bought some, so they all went out with the clown stuff, and then he brought out the
Who
jugglers.
wants Cubs? Shout out now.
Who came here to see some Cubs? Yeah. So we'll do. But
Were your parents there?
My dad was there. Yeah.
Oh, it's a proud moment.
Mum.
Taught him all in you.
Mum, nothing to do with it. She's like, David, I'm not having it. It's another one of your harebrained schemes. Sending James out doing 2-ball juggling. But he announced us really big voice. He said the juggle laws. I'll never forget that.
The juggle laws.
He had added an extra syllable in there. The juggle laws.
Oh right,
A real boom, boom. And then we both marched out, and then Matthew was was working the right hand side of the crowd, and I was left hand side. That was
You weren't working it.
I thought I was working it because to begin with they were stunned.
He's forgotten a ball.
They were staring at me like, this kid, and I was like, yeah, that one lesson, doing my foreign pass technique, and I looked over at Matthew, and he was doing a thing where he was kicking his legs really high in the air while juggling. So he was but throwing them underneath his legs and doing it like he'd run away with the circus and then come back. It's like Mowgli in the Jungle Book when he was juggling with Baloo, and he was doing that, and he did this big finale where he kind of threw all 3 balls in the air and then caught them one after the other, and then bowed and incorporated the last catch with a bow. And then
How old is he?
He was my age. He was 7.
Unbelievable.
7 years old. Amazing juggler.
Yeah.
But also, I should have known this would be good because the Cub leader didn't say who wants to be a juggler and then he put his hand up. He said Matthew will be a juggler and then who else. So I should have known he's probably
His
quite
dad
good.
was the great Serpendo. He had an advantage.
But he bowed and they erupted into applause.
Yeah.
Really, really applauded.
Were you still going at this point?
No, I'd stopped to watch. Also, when he bowed, one of the kids who was dressed as a lion jumped out from behind there's a cardboard cannon in the middle, and he jumped out from behind that and just pointed at Matthew with both hands but like, and just carried on pointing at me and biting his bottom lip like it was like, like because of how good he was. And then like there's one parent looking at me in the audience. That was my dad. Looking at me from the back of the room, he just extended his arm and just giving me a thumbs up and nodding. Like, yeah, we did it.
That is amazing. Oh, so did your dad know that? When did you tell your dad that it had all gone wrong?
Pretty much straight after. I went, what did you send me into that for? And he went, you wanted to learn juggling in a week, James. It's the best I could do. I didn't want to tell you that wasn't juggling.
Oh, poor old David Acaster. Gets so much stick, doesn't he?
It does get a lot.
Well, that is a classic scrape from the archives. I mean, it's this, you know, great one. One of my favourites.
What a sad little boy.
What a sad little boy, but you know. At least if Matthew is listening, it's unlikely, but you know, if text in to say you've become a juggler, and then it'll all be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I just can't believe how good he was at the age of 7.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Can you just for listeners at home, Andy's just pointed at James like they all used to point at Matthew, just
And the lion.
Yeah.
just to rub it
in a
in.
lion outfit.
Josh Widdicombe. XFM.
Before we go, a few things to tie up. Earlier on, we were discussing sosheds for slightly too long. Maybe
We got overexcited for a whole hour, didn't we?
a whole hour of shed stuff. And someone tweeted hashtag shed related anecdote, and then we said, let's see if we can get that trending. And we failed. But what we did do,
Gus Honeybun is now gone big.
what we have done is, let's read out some of the tweets that have got the hashtag shed related anecdote. We said, don't write about sheds, just write what you want, and then put that on the end. Off to Hammersmith to do some shopping, hashtag shed related anecdote. Just mopping the bathroom floor with no top on, hashtag shed related anecdote. This is my favourite. Loving Edith Bowman on BBC Six Music this morning, hashtag shed related anecdote. Neil, you've tweeted, just joining in, hashtag shed related anecdote. I'm not going to keep saying it. I'm watching Paul Hollywood go mental on dough, hashtag shed related anecdote. Underwhelmed by Battersea Bridge, hashtag shed related anecdote. Loving the last full day of London radio, well that's actually a good one. I will carry on with that. Dining walls prepped and ready to paint. Just as soon as the spider leaves, hashtag shed related anecdote. And
Some cracking Saturday mornings going on.
Yeah.
my favourite though, I think we should leave is, do not understand this hashtag at all, hashtag shed related anecdote. Thank you very much for them. Before we go, we should, as always, for coming in, you have a chance to plug whatever you want in.
Does James get to plug each week, does he?
He does, yeah. He's run out of things, if I'm honest.
Well, to be honest, I reckon there's juggling he needs to plug soon.
James, any plugs?
Tour starts this week on the 3rd of October.
So for once, you've actually got a plug.
Yeah, yeah.
Where are you this week?
Starts in Aberdeen on the 3rd of October.
That's a bit of a way,
At the
isn't it?
Lemon Tree.
At the Lemon Tree. Okay, and details?
JamesAcaster.com.
And Andy?
Yeah, I'd like to plug James's tour as well. Starts in Aberdeen, October. No, I've got my own to plug. That's it.
Too late.
.co.uk. If you're in London, Bloomsbury next week on Thursday. If you're around the country, we're getting them all in before Slacktivist comes out on DVD on November the 25th.
There we go. So thank you very much. Anything to plug, producer Neil?
No. Right, if anyone's got a chainsaw they can lend me, that'd be good.
Tweet him, and you will be caught up in a murder spree, seemingly. That is for house DIY, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Good, yeah, good. Right. Thank you very much. You've been a lovely audience. We don't know what they've been like, but you're just speaking to a microphone.
I think it's been a great crowd this week.
It's been a great crowd. You've been a great crowd. You've been really responsive. Yeah. You know, we're only as good as the crowd we've got. So thank you very much. See you next week.